Finding out that the self-proclaimed dark academia girlies have paid nothing but dust to Katabasis by R.F. Kuang is the final confirmation to a theory that I have been thinking for a long time. A lot of people don't really like academia, they love the performance of it. Because these people love the aesthetic. They love the black coffee, the annotated paperbacks, the turtlenecks, name-dropping Dostoevsky everywhere. But the moment they are confronted with a book that actually requires intellectual agency and also engagement, then suddenly this book becomes too intellectual or trying too hard or too difficult to read. Because many of you didn't really dislike the book. What you disliked is being exposed. Because Katabasis is not a book that makes you feel clever. It's a book that asks you, why do you need to feel clever at all? And for all of you who are dismissing this book as pedantic or too intellectual, you are actually proving my point, which is that this book hit too close to home. Hello, my gorgeous viewers and readers. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I hope your weekend was filled with cute solo museum dates, hot matcha lattes, and the very specific second-hand embarrassment that you get from someone trying to weaponize literature in order to justify their own elitism. A few weeks ago, I came across a viral review of Katabasis by R.F. Kuang, where the reviewer constantly described this book as unidimensional, overly technical, and borderline pedantic. And according to her, she says that Kuang actually wrote this book in order to flex on her education, right? She has been to multiple Ivy League and Russell Group universities, and also she wanted to demonstrate her familiarity with theory. And after finishing Katabasis myself, I realized something, and is that a lot of you didn't really understand the book, but also you rejected it, because this book is not for people who want to feel as if academia is flattering. This book is for people who have been destroyed by academia, and let me tell you why. Starting with a quick summary, Katabasis follows Alice Lowe, a postgraduate student specializing in magical theory, who travels to hell with her own academic rival Peter Murdoch in order to find and rescue a professor that has passed away quite recently, called Professor Grimes. He passes away due to his own unethical research, but they both decide to travel to hell and find him, and obviously rescue him and bring him back to life in order to make sure that their own research is actually finalized. In this novel, hell is not just one singular space, but actually an amalgamation of different religions and different mythologies. So Kuang took a lot of inspiration from Dante and Ovid and also Virgil, but also most importantly, she also took a lot of inspiration from Buddhist mythology and also traditional Chinese underworld mythology, which I think was so interesting and fascinating. But in this universe and in this hell, souls are not just trapped, and they are not just punished arbitrarily, but rather they are punished based on the sins that they have committed during life. So in this hell, souls are actually trapped based on the consequences of their moral actions, their desires, but also most importantly, their own failures. And as Alice travels through hell, this journey becomes less about Professor Grimes and actually about her own moral desires and her own needs as a human, and what are her actual failures. We see how her compliance, her complicity, her own internalized misogyny, but most importantly, her willingness to endure abuse in order to find power, become the protagonists of this journey. So in this sense, this book is not a rescue story. This is actually a reckoning. Now, this is why I was so shocked and flabbergasted when I went onto Goodreads and I saw all these negative reviews about Katabasis, because a lot of people were saying that the characters are too unidimensional and poorly written, or they were saying that this book is too technical and she put too much research and actually info dumped instead of actually telling the story. And the most important and wildest review that I saw was a lot of people were saying that she always writes about Cambridge and Oxford and Yale in order to flex that she has had this education, because I don't think we have read the same book. I don't think you guys understand what this book is actually about. You guys are genuinely crazy. Starting with the first point that a lot of people mentioned, they said that the characters are too unidimensional and poorly written. And this comment genuinely shocked me, because this tells me that you guys are confusing moral discomfort with bad writing, because Alice is not meant to be likable. She is meant to be recognizable. From the very beginning, Alice is presented as hyper-competitive, deeply insecure, and also deeply invested in her own academic success, right? We see that even though she has a life outside academia, the moment she comes to the UK, that is when her academic life starts, because her life, or her academia life, starts when she chooses Grimes as her professor, right? And she makes the conscious decision of going for Grimes, not because he has an incredible academic ethics or because he is kind. She chooses him because he represents everything she wants to be, right? He is extremely academically successful, but also he has the power in academia. He is presented as this unique figure, right? And that is exactly what Alice wants. He actually is the gatekeeper for her success. Alice also understands that academia is actually a game, and she knows the rules of this game and plays her cards very well. But what we see in this book, and this is something that Alice slowly discovers, is the fact that this game is rigged, because this game protects power and also protects all the hierarchical systems that actually protect those who are in power. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what cards Alice has or how well she plays these cards, this game will never let her win, because the people who are constantly winning, the ones who are at the top of this game, will never let her win. That is the point of the book. And this is extremely well presented with the character Professor Grimes, because he is extremely abusive, especially towards women, right? He mentally, physically, and also sexually abuses them because he knows that he can do it. He can get away with it because the institution shields him, right? And Alice decides to play this game, decides to consent to all of it because she wants what Grimes has, right? And also that if she refuses to any of it, that means her career annihilation. That means that she will be nothing, or she will never get what she has desired, right? And then when we see Alice going into hell or descending into the different layers of hell, we see how her journey through hell actually represents her journey through life, right? She is constantly exhausted. She neglects her own body, but also she neglects the relationships around her. And she also uses people in order to get what she wants, which is academic success, right? She uses Peter, she envies him, and she also feels jealous of the relationship that he has with Professor Grimes. But also she uses the other characters because she thinks that by using them, well, she thinks that that is exactly how people should relate to each other or should behave with each other, right? Because in academic life, that is exactly what she has experienced. She has been abused, she has been used, and also she will never get her way if she doesn't become a shark. And one thing that is crucial from this story, and that all of you have completely dismissed, is the fact that Alice is an unreliable narrator. Because if we actually look into her character, right, into her as an individual, she is someone whose life is hanging by a thread, right? Not only she has absolutely rejected all her bodily needs, right? She doesn't sleep, she doesn't eat, she barely drinks any water because she is so focused on her magic and all her academia, but also she is absolutely depressed, and also she is suicidal, right? She is like, she doesn't care about her life. She actually Loki wants to die, right? So in this sense, I understand why she makes all these decisions, because the only thing that is holding her alive is the fact that she has a way to move forward, that she has one goal, which is actually getting her own postgraduate and then becoming as powerful as Grimes is. That is the only thing that is actually making sense for her, right? Also, we need to take into account that she has been extremely abused by her professor, right? Because yes, Peter Murdoch has been abused, but not in the same way as Alice has, right? And that is why I think that many of you who are saying that Alice is unidimensional have completely missed the point. She sounds unidimensional because that is the only thing. Academia is the only thing that is holding her alive. That is the only thing that she cares about, because she can't care about anything else. And the fact that you guys are completely dismissing this point not only sounds hypocritical, but also sounds misogynistic. Another thing that shocked me in the reviews is the fact that many of you say that R.F. Kuang is too technical, or that she puts too much unnecessary information in her books. And this revealed the heart of the problem in academic literature, because Kuang is not actually info dumping. What she is doing is theory building. These are two completely different things. Katabasis is actually structured as an academic argument. We see thesis, synthesis, but also we see a counterpoint, right? We see how hell, the theory of hell, is not one single setting, but actually is a philosophical system. We see how each reference, so Dante, Virgil, and also all the Buddhist cycle systems, or the cycle of suffering, actually represent a methodology, but also represent a hypothesis and a method. So in this sense, Katabasis is actually an academic point. It is actually an academic argument for morality, hell, and religion. And this is why in this novel, technical language is actually the main point of the story, because Alice's healing doesn't come from romance or redemption or external validation. It comes from unlearning, because Alice has learned, or she is under the belief that she has to suffer enormously in order to get what she wants to get, her way, right? This is what Professor Grimes has taught her. But in fact, what she needs to learn, or what she learns during this journey through hell, is the fact that ambition without compassion is just another way of damnation. And this is why she has to learn to be kind to others, but also to be kind to herself, because she will never get happiness through suffering. In fact, suffering only creates more suffering. That is the point of the book. She has to unlearn in order to learn. Now, another thing that I kept seeing in these reviews was the fact that she writes about Oxford, Cambridge, or any of the Ivy League universities that she has been to, just to flex that she has studied there. And honestly, this criticism is exhausting. Do you guys not get tired of constantly saying the same thing over and over again about R.F. Kuang? Honestly, just leave it. Like, you guys just sound jealous. In fact, R.F. Kuang clearly explicitly mentions her resources. She mentions where has she taken all the theories from, but also she explains and she explicitly demonstrates where has she taken liberties, or where has she taken some stuff and just reformulated, right? She demonstrates very clearly that she has done her research, that she cares about this research, about these theories, more specifically the ones that have a cultural background within them. So for example, all the Buddhist mythology, but also the traditional Chinese underworld mythology as well. She takes incredible care with these two theories and these two mythologies. At the end of the day, we need to take care about the culture that is behind these theories or these mythology, but also she acknowledges that her research is not perfect. To me, this doesn't sound arrogant. To me, this sounds as intellectual honesty. More importantly, she writes about misogyny, racism, and elitism in academia, especially in Ivy League and Russell Group universities, because she has experienced these things herself. She is a woman of color in academia, so therefore she knows firsthand what it feels to be in Alice's position, right? And in this sense, that's why I think Katabasis sounds less or looks less like a flex, as you guys say, but actually more as an autopsy, because she has seen all these ugliness from the inside. She has seen all these tendrils and all these guts that actually build what is academia at the end of the day, which is a system that protects power. She has experienced it herself. That is why the fact that she is writing about Russell Group universities or Ivy League universities is not actually a flex. She is actually telling you the truth. This is why, to me, this book feels like a healing narrative written by someone who has been through the same things that Alice has been, right? They have been through the same intense academic validation or this need for academic excellence, and someone who has been utterly broken by academia. So if you guys feel uncomfortable by the fact that someone is rightfully critiquing academia, maybe the problem is not with the book, maybe the problem is with you guys. And this is why I think many of you didn't like Katabasis and actually rip it to shreds. Because the moment someone actually takes away all the things that you actually like about academia, which is all the aesthetics and all the dark academia coded type of things, which is the mysteries, the black coffee, all the old notebooks, the old books, the smell of ancient libraries, all the turtlenecks and the miniskirts that you guys enjoy, then suddenly what you actually have to do is interact intellectually with these books, and that is something that you reject. That is something that you don't want, because when someone actually projects and actually presents academia the way it is, which is the reality that many people, especially minorities, have to face, then suddenly you don't like academia. Suddenly this book is too intellectual, too pedantic, or also they are trying to flex the fact that they have been to Ivy League or Russell Group universities, because you guys cannot handle true academia. You just want the idea of the performance of academia. You didn't like this book because it exposed you. It exposed that what you actually like is only performative academia, because all the things that you enjoy about this genre, which is the intellectualism, the ambition, and all these morally great characters and mysteries, what they are is nothing more than elitism, abuse, and also narcissism. Because what you guys are doing is masking these deep insecurities that you have for intellectualism. That is all you guys are doing. As a quick conclusion, Katabasis is not a comfortable read, and it is not meant to be, because this book is actually for all the people who have been hurt by academia, who have been destroyed by it, for all of you who had all these grandiose dreams of academia, of learning, of research, but actually have been utterly demolished by abuse and by elitism. This is who this book is for, right? And if you started reading this book just because you wanted to feel the intellectual superiority, you were never meant to like this book. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you love this book That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked this video almost as much as you liked reading Katabasis. If you have read this book, I would love to know your opinion about it. So please make sure that you put it down in the comments and let's discuss. Obviously, as always, let's be friendly. And if you like this video, please make sure that you like it and also that you subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on my social media. I post there every day if you want to know more content about Katabasis or any of the books that I read. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day and also a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.